And then what happens, they end up just saying no to their primary business as they say yes to all these other things.
Right.
Thinking that they're saying yes to everything, but every time you say yes to something, you say no to a lot more of your prior commitments.
You're checking out the Investor Shed podcast with Nick Beveridge and Jeremy Kitchen. They're on the path to financial freedom, and they're taking their community with them. Stay tuned for the best free real estate investing advice on the internet.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Investor Shed podcast. My name is Nick Beveridge, here with my co-host, Jeremy Kitchen.
Good freaking morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm so sweaty. It's midsummer. It's hot.
Dude, this shed is like a sauna.
You know what? Saunas are great. You know what's even better? Questionable water.
Well, we'll get to that here in a minute. Today's topic is actually imposter syndrome, and we're going to be talking about how we work through our own imposter syndromes. We kind of go into our own experiences with real estate investing, fighting our own bottlenecks on our own worst enemies, which is usually ourselves, and kind of just have a really good conversation about that.
I thought it was a great conversation.
Yeah.
It was great. I learned something again. You learned something again.
I did, yeah.
And we hope you learn as well.
Yeah.
That you're never going to get better info than right here. So.
Right here, right now. But I want to go back to what you said earlier, Nick. So you said questionable water. Is that your endorsement for what people should be drinking during this podcast?
They should be drinking it during this podcast and for the rest of the day.
Cool. Tell me more.
I mean, so Andrew Huberman, I've been listening to a lot of him lately.
Okay.
And he loves bacteria in your gut.
Okay.
And I was thinking the best way to get more bacteria would be to drink as much questionable water as you can. Find and source.
Cool.
Stagnant ponds.
Stagnant ponds? Got it.
Water meant for irrigation.
Okay.
Drink as much of that, the friendly pathogens as you can find.
Friendly pathogens, you heard it here first. Go drink some irrigation water or find a stagnant pond with, a bunch of mosquitoes breeding in it, and your gut's going to thank you because we're really doctors.
Yeah. I mean, you want your gut to fight.
Yeah.
You want your gut to be a warrior, and that's how you're going to do it, by pushing the envelope.
That's right.
Enjoy this episode. We give a lot of great info.
Thanks.
Hot again today. That's okay. Oh, it's going to be so hot again today. Oh.
We're complaining and it's like 90 out. People in Arizona are like, you're really funny.
Oh, it's 75.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
But it's super sweaty.
Sweaty today.
It's a sweaty 75. Speaking of sweaty 75s.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Investor Shed podcast. My name is Jeremy Kitchen. That's a good spot to clip that and start the podcast.
It can be.
Can be.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want. We're the owners here.
Well, I'm Nick Beveridge. This is Jeremy Kitchen, like he just said. And welcome to another edition of the Investor Shed podcast, where we give you the best info that you're ever going to hear in your life.
Yeah. And
from any source of anything.
Any source of anything. Best info ever. Hands down. You are listening or watching the world's best #1 podcast based in North Idaho about real estate investing with hosts named Nick and Jeremy and with last names Kitchen and Beveridge, because I want to get real specific about how we're #1 here.
Yep. Go for it.
And that's exactly what we're going to do on this episode. We're going to get specific on a little thing called imposter syndrome. And we're going to be talking about, when to know when you're done investing or when to know when you're doing the right things. It'll be a good episode.
Yeah, some people just don't know if they're doing the right things, especially in the investment world.
Yeah.
Because there's such a delayed gratification. They don't know if they've done the right moves, when they're going to be happy. There's some people that just keep going and just keep building, and they're just not sure when enough is enough. And I think this is going to be a good topic to just chat about and just give our experiences. Man, I wish I had a Breathe Right strip on. I don't.
Oh, I am sorry. I'm wearing the one I was wearing from last night. I'm like, this thing's still working? We're rolling with it today. I only have to do drone photos today. I don't have to meet any clients.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Yeah.
But when you hear this, it could be a Thursday or a different day.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to you. But it matters to us. Let's kind of dive in. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this episode is mainly because of my own feelings in real estate investing that I think a lot of other people can actually relate to. I'm constantly at war with myself, it seems.
Yeah. No, me too.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are.
Like, saying that sentence always feels like in my head I'm failing, but I know I'm not.
Yeah. So what makes you think that you're failing?
There's a lot that goes into that. And I mean, first of all, I know that I'm not. But the constant feeling of battling, you know, like your peers are doing a lot more deals than you, your peers have more success than you. But that's a very bad basis on how you can judge how successful you're being.
Okay. So the people you've surrounded yourself with and the people that you're constantly getting advice from, you feel like everybody's above you?
Yes, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Like it's hard, but it's a good thing because, you know, you were supposed to be the smartest or the dumbest person in the room is what I've heard.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps if you want to grow. Yeah. That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I think it's true.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, there's been times in my life where I've struggled, and I think I can relate a lot of that to just the people I surround myself with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with, but sometimes, yeah, you can feel like an imposter. Like, I don't know if I belong here.
Right.
I forget half the time what I'm actually what I'm going for.
Yeah.
You know, what are my goals in life? Did I hit them? Do I stop now?
Right.
Like, does it seem impossible?
Right.
You know, here we are, 2024. The world's collapsing. We've got 2 great presidential candidates that are going to save us. One of them.
They're both they're just lovely people, of course.
Yeah. So it's like, are you in control of your future? Do you know if you're in control? Do you feel like you're completely out of control?
Right.
Is that okay with you? Or is that not okay with you? Do you feel like you're living up to your potential? I think that's the biggest thing that we want to focus on today is like trying to live up to your potential.
Sure.
And being okay with what you're doing. Or if you're not okay with what you're doing, maybe that's a good thing. Right.
And you know, like everyone gets caught up in their own struggles, and it's really easy to get caught up in your own like nest that you've woven. If we take me back 5 years ago, my struggles were completely different.
Yeah.
But like if we go on today, like I still feel like I'm struggling even though I know I'm not.
Where were you? Take people back. Where were you 5 years ago?
So
can you even remember?
Yeah, I mean like if we can 5 years ago basically to the day I'm working at a car rental place. It was 2019.
Yep.
You were probably talking to me about like starting Ginger Snap.
Yeah, it was about this time of year. Yeah.
I was, you know, working just a normal W-2 job, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wasn't making any headway on anything, but I also didn't have any goals or any like ambitions to be anything.
Yeah. So at the time, you self-admitted you weren't really like making progress.
Right. No, I was not making progress.
You were stuck in this rat race. Every month you weren't improving financially or as a person. You were just getting older and dying.
Yeah.
And you know, your bank account wasn't healthy.
No, not at all.
Your father-daughter relationship was much better at the time.
That's true. It was.
So it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, but she's great, of course. I mean, parenting a 16-year-old is going to have its hardships in its own. But,
yeah. Once they turn teenager, they just hate you.
Yeah,
no matter
12,
what,
you're
right?
just like, all right, this is a completely different ballgame. So anyway, that's on the mend. Everything's good there. Just it was a lot different for sure.
Yeah. So what was it like getting up? Like, can you even remember? I know it's a long time ago, 5 years ago, but you were in a completely different situation.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember what it was like getting up every day? Did you spring out of bed?
No.
Did you look forward to the day?
I think most of the day, I don't think I actually looked forward to it, but I've never been like a sad or depressed person. I've been a pretty happy person for the most part. Like, I made the most of the day, but I made the most of mediocrity at the same time.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
My life was pretty much on autopilot, Nick. Like, I wake up, take my daughter to school, go to work, come home, pick up my daughter, eat dinner, go to bed, repeat, right?
And you were living at your brother's house.
I was,
at the time. Yeah. How did that make you feel? Were you just comfortable with it?
It was a mix between comfort and embarrassment, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like I was mostly comfortable, but it was also like, I can't have people over. This isn't my place. I don't have any ownership of this thing. I don't feel comfortable ever having people over here.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And so that still wasn't enough to kind of push you to do something different, though.
No, it wasn't.
It took surrounding yourself around people that were striving for more.
Yes, 1,000%. It absolutely, being around you and your network, like, changed my life completely.
Yeah. Is that all it took, or was there something else?
I mean, Sam was a big part of that too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like having a wife who was motivated and having a person in your life who's motivated to be and do more, like really helps you elevate to the next level as well.
Yeah, and 5 years ago, like, you guys weren't dating.
We were not dating.
You didn't know her.
No, I had no idea.
You just met her, but like, she was somebody that you were attracted to,
Yeah.
that you wanted to be better for her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, we were both kind of starting on this like beginner's journey of like, okay, we're with a new thing here because I think she got hired by you like 6 months before me or something like that.
Yeah, maybe a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, she went off on a completely new thing too. She moved over from the west side of Washington over here because you guys found her on ZipRecruiter.
Yeah.
ZipRecruiter changed my life.
Yeah, my usage of ZipRecruiter.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the best hires ever.
Yeah.
Off ZipRecruiter, just the trial version, and then we ended it before that charged us money.
And she told me she got the job with you because actually her pronunciation and she had all her spelling correct in her application. And apparently that's a hard thing to do on a ZipRecruiter application.
Yeah, so that's how we actually accepted an interview with her.
Okay.
Like we had, I remember 52 or 53 people apply for the position, and I think we interviewed maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10.
Sure.
But the majority of the applicants had typos and misspellings
Wow.
and grammar errors, and just we knew instantly that was a good way to. We're looking for somebody who's a perfectionist,
Right. And for
someone who's like applying for a position, like it's an immediate no.
yeah, and this was a little context. This was to be the team's manager and handle all the transaction coordinating and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
need somebody who crosses their T's and dots their I's. Apparently, one person did that.
10 people.
10 people. Okay.
10 people did that ish.
Sure.
5 to 10 or so. And and those are the people that we interviewed.
Sure.
Sam was the only one that we felt really comfortable with
Yeah.
offering a position to.
Yeah. And I remember, like, we were sitting in the same office and we'd always do the goal meetings. Mm-hmm. Right? I remember, and the reason why I'm bringing this up today, because it actually kind of came full circle a little bit. You were asking me what my goals were.
Yeah.
What were my goals?
You wanted to save $10,000 and get out of debt. What I can't remember what else. You wanted to lend money someday.
And I wanted to pay off
What?
my car.
You wanted to pay off your car? What else?
That was pretty much it.
Yeah. Pretty good goals. I mean,
Yeah, they're not bad.
At the time, what did you have, like $14 in your bank account?
Yeah.
And not much else? You were in debt
Right.
with your car. You were spending more than you were making. How long ago did you pay off your car?
Today.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
That's awesome.
I paid off my car today.
Debt-free.
I'm not debt free.
Well-
so what I am though is I have less than $1,500 of consumer debt,
Ooh.
and I can pay it off at any time. But
Yeah.
I'm holding fast on that. I've
This was only 5 years ago.
yeah.
It's amazing what you can do in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't do it all year one.
No, I did
Like,
not.
this was a process, but like, you've come a long way.
I think I refinanced the car eventually after a while too, so my payments went down and kind of made it a little bit
Yeah.
easier. But
So for those listening that have never heard this podcast before with Jeremy, like, let me just recap, and you correct me if I'm wrong. In the course of just 5 years of surrounding yourself with the right people, or more people, just surrounding yourself with a different crowd,
yeah,
you went from living at your brother's house, having really nothing in your checking account all the time, single dad, raising a daughter by yourself, and working a job that was not that great, car rental place.
right. It was an okay
And-
job, but I hit my glass ceiling, or I hit my ceiling very quickly.
No retirement account out there.
Nope.
You were in debt.
Yep.
And over the last 5 years, you own a house. You've done multiple real estate deals.
Yep.
You've paid off your car. You've saved more than the $10,000. I know, because you've lent me money. We don't have to get into how much money Jeremy has, but Jeremy's got a lot more than 10 grand.
Yeah. And that's just the lendable money. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're being smart with it too. Like, you've got retirement accounts now that you're lending from and self-directing. You've also, not just you became an employee with my company, you ended up buying that company.
I did.
You took it over completely. You run it yourself. You make a hell of a lot more money than I ever did with it.
It's also a hell of a lot more work. There's an
Hell of a lot more work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as far as I know, in the service industry, the more money you want to make, the harder you got to work. Yes, you can work smart, but you still got to work hard.
Right.
There's no easy way of getting around it.
Right. If you want to make more money, you have to either have your money make more money for you, or you have to buy things that make you money, or you just have to work harder to create more capital. That's really all your choices are, or get lucky. But that's not what we try to preach around here, getting lucky.
Yep. So you got married to our team manager.
I did.
She went off and did her own business too. Mm-hmm. So you guys are both, you both run your own businesses. Mm-hmm. You both own a house together.
Yep.
And you have a baby.
We do.
Growing a new family. Total. I mean, it's only 5. It may seem like a long time, but 5 years goes like that.
It really does.
When you're, close to 40.
Yeah, and we're pushing that line, buddy.
But it's amazing how much you've transformed your life, and I feel like you're more excited to get out and conquer the day.
Yeah, I really am.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, just with Ginger Snap alone, like it's. I was thinking about this yesterday. This has been the hardest I've ever worked, and also the most gratifying.
Yeah, nice.
But with success comes with sacrifices, of course, right? Like, I mean,
but what are you really sacrificing?
Time with my family, I guess, would be the main sacrifice.
Oh, but like from before, I mean, you had more time to play video games.
Sure, I did.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't really have much time for video games anymore. That's something I had to sacrifice too.
Yeah.
But it was worth the sacrifice.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think you may accomplish in the next 5 years?
Oh, man, sky's the limit. And again, like, I think I've had my own personal experiences. I've had my own debts just looming over my head. And they've always been something like I don't know how to get out of. Obviously, working on a W-2 job, like you can make X. You can't work 90 hours a week at a W-2 job. They won't let you.
No, they won't.
And it's hard to find motivation to get out and make more when you're making such little.
Yeah. And another huge thing that maybe some people don't consider is like what. Hey, quick commercial break here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I really do appreciate it. If you want to give back, let me help you buy a house, or I can help you sell a house. It's the only way I make money when I'm not investing in real estate. I don't make money on this podcast or the events I do, but I do make money only when I help people buy and sell houses. So if you're looking for your next investment and you're here in North Idaho, I want to help you personally. If you are not in North Idaho, I can still help you out. I have a vast network of referral partners all across the country, and I can find the right real estate investor savvy agent for you so you don't have to. It doesn't cost you a thing. Thank you for your support. Back to the show. When you had your job, you had one boss.
Yeah.
And you could, it's so super risky in my opinion, because if you screw up with that one client, your boss, you can get fired and you have zero income.
Then you have zero bosses, correct?
Yeah. And some people may think it's so risky to go out and have your own business. You now have, I don't how many, if you had to guess, how many clients do you have regularly?
Like regular clients? Like people I can depend on?
People that you have used you more than twice.
Oh, probably 35, 40.
Okay. So you've got 35 to 40 chances to screw up and get fired, and you're fine. You can still make income.
Yeah.
Like you're at a much more secure spot.
Sure.
When it comes to income. If you piss off one of your clients and they fire you, you have 34 others.
Yeah. It really just makes more room for a new client. They're so busy.
Yeah.
Not that I love all my clients for sure, but just if one leaves, it is a peace of mind knowing that okay, this is not my entire bread and butter. Obviously, I provide a service. You like my service. I like working with you. Hopefully, we continue doing win-win services together. But if you by chance choose not to work with me, I'm not offended.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is the risk. A lot of employees think owning your own business is so risky.
Sure.
But I just don't think that they're understanding all the elements here, because it's not risky at all. I mean, it's up to you if you want to make money or not. You just got to show up. Show up and do what you're good at.
Yeah.
And if you piss somebody off and get fired for the day, tomorrow's a new day, and you get to do the same thing. You can't really be fired from your job. You can be fired by certain clients.
Sure.
But like if you have a normal W-2 job, your income can just get shut off at any time.
Yeah.
And then you have to go try to do something new. And I think that is super risky. That can get you in a position where you can't make your mortgage.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, like, when you work for a single employer, right, that company could just go, or it's not even just the boss, like, the company could just cease to exist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen. Like, the only way what we're doing would cease to exist is if we stopped nurturing it.
Yeah.
And we'd have to try really hard for it to cease to exist.
And with most companies, they don't exist to employ people.
Right.
They exist so that the initial owner or owners can make money, make a profit. And an employee, you're just looked at as an expense. Maybe a necessary part of the business until you become unnecessary.
Right.
But you're the biggest liability and the biggest expense typically that a business has.
Yeah.
And if the time ever came as an option to replace you at a cheaper, you know, in cheaper ways, or if technology took over, you know, AI, you know, did take your job, a business owner, you know, businesses are not incentivized to necessarily have employees.
Right.
It's not, I've had them before. It's actually, it's very difficult. It's risky. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
People tend to get entitled. And over time, you typically see less and less production from somebody. And it's just, this may sound completely brutal, but if you're an employee out there and you think you're safe, trust me, your company doesn't necessarily want you. They just need you until they don't.
That's true. I mean, like you're saying, like everyone's, you know, you having a W-2 job and an employer is a false sense of security. You can, it's a false sense of security, and like I said, they can pull that rug from you anytime they want. If AI comes in, does your job better than you, cheaper than you, an employer would be dumb not to take that.
Yeah, and this doesn't apply to everybody.
Right.
This doesn't apply to all positions out there, but most. So it's just something I'd like. We're just trying to be brutally honest and wake people up out there.
Right.
If you're an employee and you feel like you're not living up to your potential, I mean, try starting your own business. You'll feel it's going to be super hard your first year, and it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But the amount of confidence that you'll gain over time just by doing what you say you're going to do, it's pretty life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then eventually, you know, you can take time off.
Sure.
Most business owners, they do run a little hot, and they do tend to work more than 40 hours a week most of the time when they're first starting off. But you know, it just takes a lot more effort to start a business and get it on autopilot than it does to swoop in and come in later as an employee, maybe.
Sure.
So anyway, we're getting off topic a little bit.
Do we do that? We never do that.
No, never.
No, but and I mean, like the reason why we were kind of talking about my story, I guess, is because like I do feel like I'm constantly at like odds with myself, even though if you zoom out, like we just did, like I've made a lot of progress.
Yeah, you've done pretty damn good.
Right, but also, but it's just, you know, and I think that's like what a real entrepreneur and what a businessman is like nowadays, or a business person is like, you know, like striving to do more. What's the next thing? How can I improve this? Because when you become complacent at a thing, eventually you will lose steam.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that like with my workouts lately with VR, I've noticed like almost every day I'm a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
Every day I'm like doing the same old thing. I've got to figure out a way to spice it up.
Yeah.
Or,
exactly.
Or kick myself in, you know, into trying something new. But if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you will get burnt out eventually.
Right.
But I don't know, how do you combat that?
If you figure out that formula, please let me know. But you know, that's like the rut that I'm feeling like I'm stuck in right now. You know.
Yeah. And what business owners tend to do, which is the biggest mistake, is they do start to get a little burnout, and they want to try something. The woman in the red dress, they want to try some new business or add something to their business, and they get distracted from, you know, instead of perfecting what they already have going. They want to try something new, and they drop the ball, and they feel like they can do multiple things.
Yeah.
And then what happens? They end up just saying, no to their primary business as they say yes to all these other things.
Right.
Thinking that they're saying yes to everything, but every time you say yes to something, you say no to a lot more of your prior commitments.
Yeah.
So that's something I struggle with too. I've struggled a lot with it.
Yeah.
That's how I almost killed my bread and butter business.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
What is your bread and butter business?
My real estate agent business.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I've been, for those that don't know, I've been a real estate agent for going on 15 years now. And I wanted so many times in the past to maybe just do something new because I felt like I was getting burnt out. It's boring. You're doing the same thing over and over again. But as time goes on, you just get better and better and better. And I always wanted to add something like, okay, I'm going to fix and flip homes too. Now I'm buying rentals. Now I'm building a construction company. Now I'm building a media company.
Yeah.
And every time I was getting distracted, my business suffered a little bit.
Sure.
Because I just kept trying to do something new and thinking I can just put in place somebody to run it.
Which sometimes you can and sometimes you can't.
Which I was able to because we did have proper systems in place here and there. But every time you start something new and you don't finish the thing that you're just working on, you're just getting yourself in a rut.
Yeah.
This rat race of trying new things and startup. And you're never going to be better than your competitor if you keep switching tasks.
That's true, yeah. And that doesn't really go into imposter syndrome so much as it goes into, the shiny object syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
But I get where you're coming from for sure because I have so many business ideas that I texted Hans yesterday. And I'm like, dude, here's a cool business that would be like perfect for you. That would be perfect for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got, for the last year or so, I don't know if I've talked much about it on this podcast, but I've been really wanting to start a new business.
Okay.
Start a new thing where I'm kind of in the educational field for real estate agents, teaching people how to invest or how to work with investors.
Yeah.
And how to be an investor and build out this platform, this educational platform and create memberships and do this other podcasts regularly a couple times a week. And I know I can do it, and I know I can build a great product there. But I know whenever I do start that, everything else I'm working on is going to get worse. My performance is going to suffer.
Yeah.
So am I ready to do that? No.
There's one Nick Beveridge, and you're not stretched incredibly thin right now. I think you're more at a manageable place than you were a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Last couple of years, you were a wild man. This feels like you've
way too much.
This feels like you've reined it in a little bit, and now you want to try to expand again.
Yeah, but I am stopping. My whole goal for this year was to not do too much.
Right.
Do one thing at a time. And like 2024, I just wanted to get organized, get a trust in place, get retirement set up, move my assets around so where they're better protected.
Hey, I'm proud of you for doing that, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And that stuff takes a lot of time. It's something that people just put on the back burner. Like, yeah, I'll get to it. It's something I should do. But it does take a lot of time and devotion to put into that.
Yeah.
And then, I want to buy 1,000 houses still, too.
Right.
I limit myself to one. I bought one house, and I'm not going to buy another house until I finish it, until it's rented out.
And this kind of come back into my stuff as well. Like, obviously, I've been on a journey of, paying down all my garbage debt and paying it all off, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm doing this is because I believe in real estate so much that I want to make it easier for me to invest. Not only on a financial level, but on an approval level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want it to be easier that I can get approved for a house, that I can afford a payment, that I have the money to go, and I can just do the thing without the obstacles in my way.
Yeah. You want to hear something pretty cool?
Of course.
When I decided earlier in this year to not get into new projects, so here's what happens usually. I usually do, 3 to 5 fix and flips and new builds and all that kind of stuff at a time. And I'm stretching myself thin. I'm using credit lines. I'm burning the candle at both ends, and I'm using as much money as I can get my hands on to do all these things at once. And I end up doing kind of a sloppy job if I have too much on my plate. And I try to delegate as much as I can. But honestly, fixing and flipping a house or, fixing it up to rent out, I've started to realize you only need to do one at a time, because
Yeah.
there's always something to do on that house.
Yeah.
Even if you have subs in there, there's always something to do. So it's this house that I got. I actually ended up doing. I called it was going to be like a quick renovation, just
Sure.
paint and carpet and be done. I ended up doing everything.
Okay. Go
But,
figure.
This project would have normally taken me probably 3 to 4 months. We're on week 3.5,
Okay.
and it should be done today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, did a full renovation.
Okay.
Gutted the house of everything except for the cabinets. But all those were painted.
Kept all your drywall up then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a cosmetic renovation, but still everything was done inside, outside.
Sure. I
as
heard
far
gutted,
as-
and I thought you didn't go down on the studs, did you?
Cosmetic, as in like all the fixtures in the house, all the doorknobs, all the door hinges, all the doors were painted. Everything was taken out and redone. All the trim.
Yeah. Hardware's definitely not oil rub bronze
yeah.
anymore. That's.
But I mean, you forget. I always forget like how many little pieces are involved. Like yesterday, I was replacing all the smoke detectors, and they all had to be hardwired in. Like you forget how much time some of this stuff takes.
Yeah.
And just installing like a new fridge. Okay, I got to make the door swing this way. And then install the new range requires the range cord every time, and I didn't have the right one, so like just doing little things like that take 4 hours.
Right.
Of just working on the fridge and the range that are brand new.
Right.
And you forget to think, I always forget how long this stuff takes.
Sure.
But the reality is I had time to just focus on that house, and I can just get the one thing done after another.
How does that feel? Like,
Great.
Can we like just dive real quick into that, because I know you and I have done properties together, and
Yeah.
when we've done these, typically our resources are spread a little bit thin.
Yeah.
How has it been having one project?
Pretty amazing. My credit lines haven't touched.
Awesome.
Been using all cash because I'm not doing 3 to 4 projects at a time.
Yeah.
So I'm using all my own cash, and I'm only managing. I only manage 2 subs.
Okay. Yeah.
The painter, and he's been there the whole time.
Okay.
So I've been working with the painting, crew, and instead of normally sometimes I would have the painter there, and we'd be out of the way until they were done.
Sure.
But there's a lot that we can do while they're inside or outside.
Sure.
So getting multiple things done. And actually, I had a couple more subs. I had a plumber go in to do some things.
Gotcha. But they're not constantly.
But I was
managed.
doing no. Anyway, it's a lot more doable because I don't have to go to a different location.
Yeah.
It's always the same spot. I can leave my tools there. I don't have to pack up my tools every night
Yeah. North Idaho is pretty
and
safe.
bring them back.
Other places, depending on the crime in the area, make sure you just do your due diligence there. But North Idaho's, and Hayden specifically, is pretty safe.
Yeah.
Cool.
So normally a house like that house cost me $2,300 a month to hold on to. I'm getting the renovation done in 1 month, so it's costing me in holding costs, about $2,500 if you consider utilities too. But normally that renovation would have taken me 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
So
If not longer.
I could have easily, if this was a regular deal and I'm trying to do too many, I would have spent an extra $5 to $7 in holding costs.
Right.
Just to try to do more. And I would have been using credit lines and paying interest on those credit lines. So I've actually noticed I've been more profitable
Yeah.
this year in general by doing less.
I love it.
And because I'm not stretched thin, I paid off all my credit cards. And my
so proud
credit
of you.
score for the first time in a while, it's in the 800s again.
Nice. I'm almost.
And I just applied for a loan because I'm going to make an offer in Pennsylvania on
Okay.
a property.
Nice.
But I applied for a loan yesterday. And on a non-QM loan, so an investor type loan, not using taxes, just going off the DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, like the rents that are coming in, I got quoted based off my credit 7.1% and 1.5 points
Okay.
for a 30-year loan.
Not bad.
On a rental, that's already cash flowing.
Okay.
So by not stretching myself thin, and having, poorer credit, usually I would be in the 600s if I'm using a lot of my credit lines.
Yep.
I'm probably saving 0.5% in interest.
Yeah.
which goes a long way.
Which compounds over 30 years.
So I'm just starting to realize, I mean, it's taken so long to realize, holy crap, doing one project at a time is, it's so beneficial in multiple different arenas.
Sure.
You know, holding costs and credit lines and just focusing on getting one thing done at a time. And also having, I felt like every day I feel like I've accomplished something.
Yeah.
Because I didn't run from this project to the other project to the other project, and all I got done was I picked up screws,
Right.
You know, and checked up and got updates.
You're not operating in complete chaos.
Yeah,
And I think it's hard to ever really get ahead when you're in a constant state of like panic, to be honest with you.
yeah. And I'm still working while I'm at the house. I don't have to be at the office.
Yeah.
I can take calls with my headphones in, and I can talk real estate with investors as you know, fiddle around with putting hinges on a door, whatever. Yeah. It's not. It hasn't really slowed down my real estate sales business.
Sure.
Because my mind is pretty clear. I've got a checklist. It's simple stuff, installing light fixtures, that kind of stuff, light bulbs. Like I have the mental capacity to be able to talk to people at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's cool. You're buying a house in Pennsylvania?
Maybe.
Okay.
It came on the market yesterday. It's on 17 acres, and it's a house that's rented with a triplex right next to it.
Okay.
On the 17 acres for $299, and it's all in really good shape.
Wow.
It's all, yeah. One of the 2-bedroom units is empty, but it's bringing in $3,000 a month right now.
Okay.
Should bring another $1,000 a month, so $4,000 total.
Cool.
And I can get a loan 20% down. And I mean that should cash flow $800 a month ish.
What's 20% down to 300? 60?
About $60,000.
Yeah, 60. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it makes sense. If I get the offer accepted, I'll go fly out there and check it out in person.
That's awesome.
But it's the right kind of investment that I've been looking for. You know, something that cash flows that I don't have to fix up, and has long-term potential, because this is in the area. This is in a wave of potential new construction.
Sure.
So it's on 17 acres.
Yeah.
It's only using a small piece of the property right now, but it's at the end of this street, and in the next 20 years, it could be developed.
Sure.
So it's
long-term play.
Long-term play, but it could have a lot more future. And if I can never subdivide that, whatever.
You're still doing okay.
It's still going to cash flow.
Yeah. I think that specific deal, like, and I think we'll talk about it after the show too, but like something like that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I could put $60,000 down on a house right now.
Okay.
I could do that and be like, great, let's make a thing.
Well, I may not have the $60,000, so I might need your help.
Hey,
no, just kidding.
If you want to, I won't
I'm
lend
waiting,
you. I'll partner on that.
I'm waiting for this bond to get released.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. My phone keeps going off. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb.
It's all good. Yeah, that would be one, and I don't think you need my money, but like that'd be one I'd be interested in partnering on versus lending, right? Like,
on
a 30-year thing, I don't want to just make my 10%.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
We still have Moist Homes activated.
We do have Moist Homes activated. We had like $11 on that.
Yeah, but if you're buying out of state, you want an LLC in that state.
Sure, and yes, 100%. I've listened to enough Matt Sorensen and Mark Kohler to know that you operate in the state that the LLC is, or that the state is, or the property's in.
That's right. Yeah. So going back to our main topic, like feeling like you're an imposter. I mean, I felt like that for a long time.
Sure. Okay.
And then I grew my team to what I thought my potential could be. You know, I should have 20 people here and 20 people here working for me.
Yeah.
What I realized was that, gosh, it's not for me like I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's like that Jeep Wrangler. You know, I always thought I wanted a Jeep Wrangler when I was a little kid until I got one. And I'm like, I fucking hate this. It's so slow. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it looks cool and it gets around really good in the woods and in the mountains. But driving over the pass on the freeway was horrible.
They're just clunky cars.
I mean, it looked really awesome.
Yeah.
And I loved taking photos of it. But actually driving it, I mean, I look back at the business, you know, actually being the head of 40 people, and having that kind of responsibility. It wasn't as cool as it sounds.
Right.
Obviously, I could have done it better,
Yeah.
Now I've learned a lot. It feels good to scale way back, and now I don't have that feeling like I'm not living up to my potential, because I know what I could do if I really want to.
Sure.
And what I'm doing now, but just trying to keep it simple, maybe not as simple as most people,
Sure.
but simpler based off my experiences.
Yeah. And I think that's working out really well for you.
Yeah, I feel my stress levels are so low.
Dude, I was gonna say, like, just about your aura in general. Like, you seem like you're just less stressed out, and I feel like that's added years back to your life. So I get to enjoy you for more years. That's great.
Yeah, and now I can get on TRT and rank this shit up again.
That's right. Let's go. No, but like, I mean, like, we kind of talked about my imposter syndrome a little bit, but like, just diving into yours a little bit too. So do you ever feel like you're not enough?
Oh, I did, for sure.
Okay, but do you ever, like, at this point in your life, do you feel like you're doing good, or do you feel like...
Well, to be honest, all the time, like, and it goes in waves throughout the day. I'll listen to something on YouTube and I'll be like, he's right. I'm not doing enough.
I'm not doing this. Yep.
I called like 5 people today. I'm like, I should have called 100.
Right.
But I've done that before. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to spark up a bunch of business.
Yeah.
If I want to enjoy some of the money I'm making.
Sure.
And I felt, I became a net worth millionaire and enjoyed none of it.
Right.
In the past. I never had time to spend any of it. And then I did it in a way to where I eventually lost most of it. I'm still doing good.
Yeah.
But it didn't change my life like I thought it would.
Yeah.
It just added more responsibilities,
Yeah.
So now that I've had a taste of what it's like to try to live up to my potential, and I know I can do more someday, I just don't. It's always a battle with me. I feel like I can always be doing more. But now that I've had a taste of just doing a little bit, it feels pretty good.
Yeah. And that's good. I mean, you're still on the right track, and you're still doing the right things. And I think right now you're doing them at a pace that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
So if you combine these elements, like, I feel like you're doing the right things.
Yes. And I could always be doing more.
Right.
So I do feel like that sometimes. Like, dude, I'm not living up to my potential.
Yeah.
I know I can be making more money. I know I should be hiring somebody. I can bring in plenty of leads. We have an event coming up. We're going to have 150 people there.
Yeah.
And I'm just a team of me and, 2 other people.
Yeah.
We should have 10. That goes in the back of my mind sometimes. Like, why aren't I recruiting? But I don't need to. Right. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to, or I do have the time if I want to make the time.
I was going to say, like,
but
I
I've already made,
I don't have the time.
I've already made commitments.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by I don't have the time.
Right.
I've already made a commitment this year to keep it simple.
Yeah. And I hear what you're saying. Like, I just don't like that that saying I don't have the time, because I think if people don't have the time, they're choosing not to make the time because other things are important to them. Like, if it's important, you will make time, but it doesn't always need to be. You don't always need to do that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But what in the next few years, what do you feel like you really should or want to accomplish where you feel like you're not living up to what you should be doing?
Right. And it kind of goes back to what you said too, Nick. Like, I mean, I am at battle with myself of like, did I do enough? Am I enough? Am I enough for my family? And am I enough for my friends? And the answer is yes, you are.
Okay, good.
The answer is yes, you are, because these people, the value you bring to them is more than your financial worth.
Yeah.
The value you bring is more than, just the time you spend. Like, I see you being busy, and like, I don't have to get jealous that you're busy and not making time for me. I'm just like, I get to be like, Nick's killing it right now, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's not always
that's
about
always
that.
yeah. And when you see someone who you think is killing it, I mean, think again.
Right. Yeah.
Because everything can be manipulated, especially what people see online and stuff.
It's true.
Usually, whenever I post something where it looks like I'm killing it, I'm probably being killed.
Right.
And if I post something that looks simple, I'm probably doing pretty well. And we're keeping it basic. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. So I'm a big fan, especially lately, of what I call quiet work. I don't need to be bragging on social media. about the deals I've done. I don't need to be bragging about how I'm paying off my debts, even though I'm doing it today.
Yeah.
But like, I put in the quiet hours so that I can thrive better. And it's really just been a grind the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And I've made like haters along the way. I mean, like it's caused like a little bit of relationship stress here and there because I'm so focused.
Who be hating?
Nobody be hating, first of all.
Hell no.
It's
who be hating Jeremy.
So even like my wife and I, like, I mean, everything's fine and perfect, of course. It just, you know, she sees me saving all this money and paying down debts, and she wants to go on vacations.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's like a slight turmoil there, and it's not a bad thing. But I'm like, yes, we can do this, but I'm doing this first.
Yeah. You know what? Could be a great idea. The next time you tell Sam that you guys want to do a deal, you want to fix and flip a house or something like that.
Hey, Coeur d'Alene, are you ready to take your real estate game to the next level?
Join us for an exclusive 2-day real estate investing seminar right here in Coeur d'Alene, September 21st and 22nd.
We have an amazing lineup of guest speakers that are traveling out here to teach you everything you need to know to succeed in real estate investing.
That's right. How to find a deal. What is a good deal? How to form an LLC. What tax strategies do I use?
We'll dive in on how to wholesale real estate, how to do fix and flips, and how to purchase long-term rentals.
And that's just the beginning. We're also going to dive into self-storage units, property management, and how to invest out of state. Hey, Nick, what's the market going to do in 2025?
I don't know, but we got Kathy Fecky from Bigger Pockets coming to forecast the 2025 real estate market, and we're going to talk about how to create those business leverage systems.
Plus, we're going to learn how to get your mindset right. What's a short-term rental versus a mid-term rental? How do I build passive income, or should I be building massive income?
What to do? what do we do?
I don't even know what to do with my hands.
I don't even know what to do. We're going to learn. I'm telling you, this is an opportunity you do not want to miss.
Tickets are limited, very affordable, and you do not want to miss networking with these amazing people who are going to be at this event.
Yes, so hurry. Hurry.
Run.
Click on the link.
Go to northidahorei.com and click on the 2024 Fall Conference tab. Get you signed up.
They're going to sell out, I promise you.
It's gone. It's going to be gone.
Bye-bye.
And when you complete it, you're going to, you know, take $5,000 of it to go on a nice vacation, nice family vacation.
Yeah.
Instead of just, you know, put that somewhere else. But like, is that possible? Because you guys have a decent size HELOC. You can go flip a house if you wanted. I know you're both busy as shit.
Right.
But could you do that and sub a lot of it out?
You're right. Yeah, we absolutely could.
Have you guys talked about doing something like that just to make a little side income so you can create the vacation income?
We have, and I mean, like what I'm doing, like I put a lot of my money in Ally right now. It just makes a little bit of money. It's kind of cool. I have a vacation bucket in Ally.
Okay.
Which has got like $2,300 in it. So every week.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah, that is enough.
That's enough for a good little trip for, you know, to Cancun or whatever.
It is enough. Now, but before I do it, I'm paying off all credit card debt because I don't want to go and I don't want to rack up more credit cards. That's like.
Well, if you go to an all-inclusive trip,
yeah,
it's very unlikely that you'll spend much more.
That's true.
You know,
they'll always get you with an expedition.
What?
Or excursion or whatever they're called.
If you guys really want to do that.
Ride an elephant? Yes, I do.
But I mean, what, $100?
I know, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I think like next time, and we are at a spot where we could sub out a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and if you take your kid before she's 2, it's a free flight.
It is a free flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to take her after she's 2 so she can remember the things.
Okay. Well, Sam wants to go sooner.
Maybe I'll just take pictures of my kid and be like, see, you went to Serbia.
Just Canva her in.
You were there. You
were there. She's like, oh, cool. Wait a second.
You can tell all your friends you went on vacation with mom and dad. No, you know, small turmoil. It's not even a bad thing. It's just, you know, she's super proud of me at the same time. But like, I've been just chomping at the bit lately.
Yeah.
And I think like me personally, I need to save time to relax.
Yeah. How are you at scheduling your time off ahead of time?
Horrible.
Maybe that's something you just got to work on.
Yeah. And I full disclosure, transparency, I am awful at it.
Yeah. And so am I sometimes. But you know, do you guys share a like, could she just send you a calendar invite for some time off in the future?
Absolutely. And that's what we've been doing lately. I think we're going camping next weekend, and then we got this weekend we're going up to her parents' house, and I made sure I'm not taking any shoots today or tomorrow. I'm taking one today. Whoops.
Yeah, you tend to get sucked into that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a really funny meme yesterday that Joan Saber sent, and it's I think it's an image from like one of the Avenger movies or something like that, little meme, and it's a realtor is like, ooh, trying to decide what to do on Sunday, and then he's looking at all the Avengers people, and there's like each one has a little thing like spend time with family, go to the movies, go to the lake, go to this, and then slowly Thor comes into the photo, and it's like a buyer to show at 8:30 a.m.
That's pretty much
He's
it.
just got this creepy face.
I just bought
Pretty
new.
hilarious. I can't describe it really well on a podcast.
But I get what you mean though, because like for people like us, we're most of the time working or available to work unless we put in really good boundaries, which I have not instilled yet.
So you usually work on the weekends too, huh?
A lot of times especially during the summertime, man, it's been a wild ride.
What so when people ask for shoots, are they more likely to ask for a shoot in the morning or the afternoon?
They're all over the place. Right now they're like, when can we get in?
Okay.
Because they know I'm, booked out basically a week in advance. Like, do you have anything? Can you squeeze me in at any time? I'll take anything.
Can I make a recommendation?
Of course.
That you can try to start implementing? You do. This is what I would do if I was just you.
Yeah.
Because it's worked well in my real estate sales business. You do your deep work in the morning when you have the most awake energy, and you take all your appointments after 11.
Okay.
Or afternoon,
Sure.
or whenever. And you cut it off, at 4 o'clock. And these are just always my windows that are open on my calendar, and you block off the morning time to just do edits or, billing, whatever. Is that something that's possible? And then you can spend time with family after 5.
Right. And I get time
every
with
day.
family
And you just
in the
get
evening.
used to that schedule.
Yeah.
And if you only have 8 hours to work in a day, could you make it work?
I would take a pay cut.
And is that okay?
Yeah, it would be okay. But again, like the grind I've been on lately is like pay everything off.
Yeah. Now,
As
I'm
fast as you
going
can.
to challenge you.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll take a pay cut.
Yeah.
I think you'll be forced to get more efficient
Okay.
if you only have 8 hours to get something done.
Sure.
Or to get your day done, your work time. Because I'm sure there's times where you should be editing and you might be distracted doing all kinds of little things.
Yes and no.
Maybe.
Yes and no.
You've been better at that?
I've been pretty good at it. I mean, to be honest with you, like my workload has been so big, I don't have time for a lot of fucking around.
Yeah.
Like like a scenario.
How's it going? You still have other people editing a lot of your photos, right?
They edit my photos. It's still like a system and process I have to like put into place, right? So I get home, I have to import everything into the correct folder. I have to make a folder in Google Drive. I have to upload the folders into Google Drive. I have to set it up with the editor versus how many photos they're doing. It's a process to do it, but it is less time. Okay. And then when I get them back, so I wake up in the morning and all my photo shoots are done, I got to download them all. I got to arrange them all. I got to re-edit very slightly a couple of them.
Yep.
And then I re-export and then re-upload. And it's a little process. It's a lot of time saving though, but it's a lot of little, okay, this needs to go here. I got to do this while this is downloading. I'm going to put this in and just.
Do you think you can hire anybody part-time, just a couple hours a day that has the time, while they're not in school to come help out and do that? If you could just give them a load of, SD cards or whatever you're still using, and just say, I need this here, this here, this here. And, just take the time to show them what you need set up. And do you think that would shave off any time, or would that add more time?
It would probably add more time.
At first or forever?
I don't know. Even in the mornings, it's once I get the photos back, it's probably 15-minute process for me to download, import, read, put a little bit of shadows, a little bit of sharpening, just tiny things, do a couple TV screen replacements, re-export and re-upload.
Okay.
It's a pretty fast process. So if I have 3 shoots, though, it's 45 minutes in the morning.
Okay.
Most of the time, I'm fixing up all the videos. Again, if I push my workday into 8 hours, it would be tough to make the money that I've made. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But I've made like killer money the last few months.
Okay. And
But
you
I'm
know it's
saving
going to
with
slow
intent,
down.
right? It will slow down, right? And that's part of why I'm working so hard in the summer too.
Well, maybe you can plan your vacation for, November, December.
Yeah,
When you know it's going to be slow.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's on the docket for sure.
And then just have that conversation with your wife that, hey, summertime, sorry, spring, summer, I'm
Yeah.
busy as shit.
Yeah, and she is too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just, being intentional with your time. And I still get plenty of time with my family. Like, I get home, I import those photos. A lot of it's I just need to throw it into a folder and I'm done.
Okay.
Right. And then once Quinn goes to bed and Sam goes to bed shortly after, I work on all my video stuff.
Yeah. Can you hire out your video stuff online?
You can. I haven't found anybody who does it the way I do it at a reasonable price.
How often are you looking for somebody? Because there's millions of people online.
There are
that
millions
can do
of
this.
people. Yeah. But
Can do this
the
stuff.
website I use is Pixel Mob, and that's where you find all your photo editors, video editors, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I browse through them, and I'm like, okay, these are not up to the quality that I deliver with a video.
Yeah. And you haven't yet found somebody who has better quality than you, or that can do it better?
Have not.
Okay. I'd keep looking.
Yeah.
Check other websites.
Right. But
can.
honestly, like the video, like it brings me a lot of joy. I'm not like upset with my job or anything.
Yeah.
Like it brings me a lot of joy figuring out these problems.
Okay.
But I mean, there's days where it's like, if it cuts into your profit margin really high. It's when you start subbing out the videos on a way that would make sense.
Okay.
Doesn't really cut into the profit margin when I send the photos to the editors.
Can you just charge more?
People would probably buy less.
Okay. But the right people would keep buying. Right?
Yeah, possibly.
Are you still pretty competitive with your competitors
Yeah.
when it comes to pricing?
Yeah,
Okay. How many competitors do you have these days?
a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's
More,
a lot of
more
photo
than 3 now?
Yeah,
Like when we
there's-
started, there's just a couple.
Yeah, I'm sure in this area alone, there's probably 15 to 20 real estate photographers.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
But
even
there's
more.
still 2,000 agents.
But there's still 2,000 agents, correct?
Yeah.
I want my piece of the pie, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
No, but yeah, you're right. Like summer grind has been wild, and I'm looking forward to having some free time off.
Yeah. My dog just ran up against the shed. That's
What's up, Willow?
why we were distracted.
Yeah, we were both like, huh?
What are you doing?
No, but like I think like just with having what's our podcast again? When is enough?
Well, a couple different things, imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, that's
Do
what
you
I'm
feel
looking
like you're doing enough as an investor,
Right.
or a business owner?
Yeah.
We're just talking about whatever we want to talk about, honestly.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We appreciate and love you all. The
lost most
episodes start
people.
with really good intent, and then we get into a conversation, and it's actually a really good conversation. So
I think so. It helps me. Even if no one listens to this,
Hey, man,
I'm enjoying this.
I'm having a good time with this, yeah. and that's really what this is for. This is for us to have a good time, and hopefully you get some value out of it too. But with imposter syndrome, it's you versus you. It doesn't need to be you versus somebody else. So
Yeah,
really,
that's a good point.
Really
It's all
zoom
mindset.
out.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you satisfied with the work and effort and things you've done? If the answer is yes, you do not have imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And if you aren't sure, get some advice. Get coaching
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
I remember I paid for coaching once for a little bit, and it was just before it was after I hired Joe, and it was just Joe and I got some coaching, and we had this guy that wanted to join our team, and man, I just wasn't sure. I was having doubts. I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm there yet. And I had to ask her, I'm like, okay, so here's where I am with my business, and somebody wants to join. I just don't know if we have the leads. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm the kind of guy that can lead. And she was just like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you've been doing this longer than him.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine. Go for it. Do it. You're ready. And all it took was somebody else to say, you are ready.
Yes.
You're good.
Yeah.
Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
He leaves. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
What, you gonna cry about it? You little baby? and it's a nice reality check. Like, yeah, you're right. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
It doesn't work out. Okay, good. What's the worst that can happen though if you don't do what you think you should do? You're gonna have regrets long term.
Yeah.
So get out there and stumble.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I think that's a really good analogy, Nick. Get out there and stumble. With your imposter syndrome, again, seek advice, because we get caught up in our own head so often.
Oh yeah.
Like go talk to somebody and talk to a trusted person who's going to give you real and honest feedback. I think it's very important that you have that person in your life who's not going to sugarcoat what you're doing.
Yeah. I hired a coach that had no real incentive to tell me one thing or another.
Right.
She just looked at my situation and just gave me honest advice.
Yeah.
And it was great advice. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. We'll see how it goes. It didn't work out with that guy.
But it still worked out for you.
But I got the experience.
Yeah.
And he wasn't upset at all.
Yeah.
Real estate sales wasn't for him.
Yeah.
But after that, I was able to nonchalantly hire somebody else. And then eventually we got Tyler Wagner on our team.
Yeah.
Fucking Tom Brady. We got lucky.
We did.
And Tom Brady made us a shit ton of money over 5 years.
Yeah.
And he brought on Caitlin. Caitlin was a crusher. Caitlin the Crusher is what they call her.
They call her that. Everyone calls her that.
She's awesome. I mean, she made us so much money. She made a lot of money. She did really well.
That's a win-win.
If I didn't just, if I didn't have the doubts and ask somebody if I should do this or not, I probably wouldn't have done it. And it was nice to just, get somebody else to just say, yeah, just take a chance. Mm-hmm. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Get the experience.
Yeah. So battle your own demons. Keep killing shit. There goes our good rating. All the kids listening to the Real Estate Investor podcast are like,
I always click no on the YouTube. I click this is not for kids.
This is not for kids.
This is not for kids.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for
Last week
that.
we said a really bad word, and I'm going to bleep it out today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you'll never know what it is, but you can guess. It's boner.
No.
What else say? It's
wish.
No, but seriously, thank you so much for enjoying this episode with us. If you stuck around this long for 56 minutes of us rambling, we love and appreciate you. And this has been a really good episode, Nick.
Yeah. You know what I'd like? I'd like someone to give us a bad review. Be honest. Like, we don't get any bad reviews. We don't have many.
Okay.
Somebody just tell us, dude, you guys suck. Do something else. I want a chip on my shoulder. I want to do better.
Do you want this in the public comments, or do you want somebody to email us privately?
Email us privately. Tell us everything that you hate about this show.
I love that. Yeah, email us
because
privately.
we want to do better. We want to still do what we want to do, but I'm sure we can improve a lot.
We want to look good on the surface, but we do want honest feedback. If you think we suck, please let us know.
And don't just say you suck. Tell us why we suck.
Yeah.
Because we do want to do better for you guys.
Make fun of my nose strip. Make fun of how I look. I can take it.
Yeah. Tell us if we do too many intros.
Tell us if we don't do enough intros.
Tell us if we don't do enough intros.
You guys get to the point too fast. Yeah, I think we need to get some more intros.
Wrap this up. Start to talk about real. I got this for real estate, and you guys don't even talk about real estate.
You're right. Welcome to the club, buddy.
Yeah. All right.
No, but seriously, thank you so much for joining. Email us all your hate mail. But if you have good things to say, put them in the comments. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We love to see that stuff. So thank you so much for checking out the Investor Shed podcast. Nick, we will see you next week.
Yeah. And if you don't know how to email us, real quick, just write this down. Nick Beveridge, my first and last name, 17@gmail.com. Email me whatever you want.
I love it.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out the Investor Shed podcast. If you enjoyed your time, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow along on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at The Investor Shed for shorts and promos about each episode. Do you want to be a guest or know someone who has great real estate investing advice and stories? Reach out to us at theinvestorshed@gmail.com.